Hello students, this is Mrs. Sonal Patil. In our previous class, we have completed the chapter Cell Cycle and Cell Division. Today, we will begin with the chapter 9 Biomolecules. To begin with introduction, a living system grows, sustains and reproduces itself. The most amazing thing about a living system is that it is composed of non-living atoms and molecules. The pursuit of knowledge of what goes on chemically within a living system falls in the domain of biochemistry. Living systems are made up of various complex biomolecules like carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acids, lipids, etc. So, these biomolecules, what are these biomolecules? Any molecules that are involved in the maintenance and metabolic processes of living organisms are called biomolecules. Proteins and carbohydrates are essential constituents of our food. These biomolecules interact with each other and constitute the molecular logic of life processes. In addition, some simple molecules like vitamins and mineral salts also play an important role in the functions of organism. So remember, biomolecules include carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acids, lipids and water molecules. All these are called as biomolecules. Now, how to analyze the chemical composition? Let us go through this. Take any living tissue, it may be a vegetable or a piece of liver, etc., and grind in a trichloroacetic acid using a mortar and pestle. So, in a mortar and pestle, we need to grind the tissue to obtain a thick slurry. If we were to strain this through a cheesecloth or cotton, we would obtain two fractions. Now, if you strain this particular solution which you have grinded using trichloroacetic acid, you will get the filtrate. That is, one is called the filtrate, or more technically, the acid soluble pool, and the second, the retentate, or the acid insoluble fraction. So, two fractions you're going to get. The first is nothing but the filtrate, or it is called as acid soluble pool, and another one you'll get acid insoluble fraction. Scientists have found thousands of organic compounds in the acid soluble pool. It will suffice to say here that one extracts the compounds, then subjects the extract to various separation techniques till one has separated a compound from all other compounds. In other words, one isolates and purifies a compound. So, the compound is being isolated and purified from it. Analytical techniques, when applied to the compound, give us an idea of the molecular formula and the probable structure of the compound. All the carbon compounds that we get from living tissues can be called biomolecules. However, living organisms have also got inorganic elements and compounds in them. So there are also it is having inorganic elements and the compounds are present in them. As organic molecules, biomolecules consist primarily of carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, and oxygen, and to a smaller extent, phosphorus and sulfur. Other elements sometimes are incorporated but are much less common. However, living organisms also have inorganic elements and compounds in them. The following experiment demonstrates that living organisms have inorganic elements and compounds in them. Experiment can be done as follows. One weighs a small amount of a living tissue and dries it. All the water evaporates. The remaining material gives dry weight. Now, if the tissue is fully burnt, all the carbon compounds are oxidized to gaseous form, and the remaining whatever is there is called ash. The ash contains inorganic elements. Remember, the ash contains the inorganic element. Now, this ash is obtained when the tissue is fully burnt. Inorganic components or the compounds like sulfur, phosphate, etc., are also seen in the acid soluble fraction. Therefore, elemental analysis gives elemental composition of living tissues in the form of hydrogen, oxygen, chlorine, carbon, etc. While analysis for the compounds gives an idea of the kind of organic and inorganic constituents present in living tissues. But from a biological point of view, they are classified into amino acids, nucleotide, nucleotide bases, fatty acids, etc. Coming to the primary and secondary metabolites. Metabolite is a substance produced during or which take part in metabolism is called as metabolite. These are low molecular weight biological compounds that are usually synthesized by an enzyme. The term metabolite is usually restricted to small molecules. There are two types of metabolites: primary metabolites and secondary metabolites. Primary metabolites, these are kind of that are these are the that kind of metabolites which are directly involved in normal growth, development and reproduction. So these are those metabolites which are directly involved in the normal growth, development and reproduction. It usually performs a physiological function in organism. Examples for the primary metabolites are sugars, amino acids, tricarboxylic acids, proteins, nucleic acids and polysaccharides. So these are directly involved in the growth, development and the reproduction. Whereas secondary metabolites are organic compounds that are not directly involved in the normal growth, development or reproduction of an organism. Example, alkaloids, toxins, drugs, etc. So these are not involved directly in the normal growth, development or reproduction of an organism, and hence they are called as secondary metabolites. Unlike secondary metabolites, primary metabolites are essential to cell growth and they are involved directly in metabolic reactions such as respiration and photosynthesis. Most primary metabolites are identical among most organisms, whereas secondary metabolites are numerous and widespread. Secondary metabolites are derived by pathways in which primary metabolites are involved. Therefore, secondary metabolites are considered as the end products of primary metabolites. Primary metabolites are produced during growth phase of cell, while secondary metabolites are produced during the non-growth phase of the cell. Coming to the biomacromolecules. There is a one feature common to all those compounds found in the acid soluble pool. They have molecular weight ranging from 18 to around 800 daltons approximately. The acid insoluble fraction has only four types of organic compounds, that is proteins, nucleic acids, polysaccharides and lipids. These classes of compounds, with the exception of lipids, have molecular weights in the range of 10,000 daltons and above. For this reason, biomolecules, that is chemical compounds found in the living organisms, are of two types. One, those which have molecular weight less than 1000 dalton are usually referred to as micromolecules or simply biomolecules. So the one which are having molecular weight less than 1000 dalton are referred as micromolecules or simply biomolecules, while those which are found in the acid insoluble fraction are called macromolecules or biomacromolecules. So two types of molecules we find here: micromolecules and macromolecules. The molecules in the insoluble fraction with the exception of lipids, are polymeric substances. Lipids are indeed small molecular weight compounds and are present not only as such but also arranged into structures like cell membrane and other membranes. When we grind a tissue, we are disrupting the cell structure. Cell membrane and other membranes are broken into pieces and form vesicles which are not water soluble. Therefore, these membrane fragments in the form of vesicles get separated along with the acid insoluble pool and hence in the macromolecular fraction. Lipids are not strictly macromolecules. The acid soluble pool represents roughly the cytoplasmic composition. The macromolecules from cytoplasm and organelles become the acid insoluble fraction. Together, they represent the entire chemical composition of the living organisms, living tissues, or the organisms. We will first study the first bio macromolecule, that is proteins. Proteins are polypeptides. They are linear chains of amino acids. So remember, they are made up of amino acids which are linked together by a peptide bond. So protein is a polymer of amino acids. They are a group of organic compounds found in all living cells. They are linear chain of amino acids linked by peptide bond. The basic building block of protein contains an amino group and a carboxylic group. So here peptide bond is nothing but it is a bond formed between the carboxylic group of one amino acid and amino group of the another amino acid forms the peptide bond. Each protein is a polymer of amino acids. As there are 20 types of amino acids, a protein is a heteropolymer and not a homopolymer. A homopolymer has only one type of monomer repeating n number of times. Certain amino acids are essential for our health and they have to be supplied through our diet. Hence, dietary proteins are the source of essential amino acids. Therefore, amino acids can be essential or non-essential. So remember, amino acids are of two types: essential amino acids and non-essential amino acids. The latter are those which our body can make, while we get essential amino acids through our diet or food. So non-essential amino acids are present already in our body, so there is no need for us to intake it through our diet, but essential amino acids we need to take it through our diet. Proteins carry out many functions in living organisms. Some transport nutrients across cell membrane, some fight infectious organisms, some are hormones, some are enzymes, etc. Collagen is the most abundant protein in animal world, and ribulose bisphosphate carboxylase oxygenase is the most abundant protein in the whole of the biosphere. So these are the proteins. So proteins, some proteins take part in the transport of nutrients, as I told you, across the cell membrane, whereas some proteins fight against infectious diseases. So these are all the functions of the protein. Whereas some proteins are, or the some hormones are protein in nature. You can give the example of insulin. So and also all enzymes are proteins in nature. They catalyze biochemical reactions that occur in the living world to produce energy. And as I told you, collagen, it is an insoluble protein found extensively in the connective tissue of skin, tendons and bone, which provide great strength and limited elasticity. And as I told, lastly, ribulose bisphosphate carboxylase oxygenase is the most abundant protein in the whole of the biosphere, which helps in the carbon dioxide fixation during dark reaction of photosynthesis. So this was about the functions of the proteins. And here Let me show you the formation of the peptide bond. You can see over here the peptide bond which is being formed. So this peptide bond is formed between the carboxylic group of one amino acid and amino group of the next amino acid. With the liberation of a water molecule, a bond is formed which is called as peptide bond. So peptide bond is linking the two amino acids together. An important question for 1 mark to be asked in the exam. Peptide bond. So we have studied the first biomacromolecule, that is proteins. Today we will stop here, and in the next class we will begin with the study of carbohydrates and nucleic acids. Thank you.